Hobbits on my shoulders make me happy.
Reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network. You're listening to LotRO Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon at doghousesystems.com.
Welcome to LotRO Reporter episode 231. This evening I am joined by a couple of fine gentlemen, who are not Leonor, because Leonor yelled so loudly at Rorrg apparently that he's lost his voice. So I'm joined this evening by Ilaadrien, or Ila, and Rorrg. Hello, gents.
Rorrg.
Hello, Cari.
Welcome.
And really, he's chasing his pants again. So.
Yeah. Those are epic pants that just seem to disappear wherever he's at.
Last I heard, he was running him down through Dunland.
Ah, that would explain it. They just kind of tumble like tumbleweed along the way.
Well, no, actually, they get up and run away like they got legs in them.
Ah, that would make sense.
And running is very tiring, so he's not going to chase us very far.
Yeah.
That's why I have a microwave 2 feet from my computer, so I don't have to run very far.
Just lean over and grab the popcorn, huh?
Burritos, popcorn. Yeah, it's all good.
All right. So we will start with our, our newest guest co-host. Ila, what have you been doing in game this week?
Well, mostly, same as last time, I've been doing Way of the Smiths grades. Did a couple of the ODs, Disease Wing, and about 900 of the Wound Wings, trying to get people to do the prereqs. And then, of course, the Moors.
Ooh.
I'm about 60.29% into rank 11, so I'm hoping by the end of May to be rank 12.
That would be awesome. Congratulations. I am not even rank 1 yet.
Thank you. We got to get you in Moors.
Well, they took me...
That way the work's chew on somebody besides me.
They took me out there in January, and that's where I got my partial rank. And that was about it. And I haven't been back out since.
Okay, we're definitely taking you out to the Moors. Don't worry, we'll paint you bright colors with a little red circle and a bigger red circle and then a bigger red circle on it.
I play a mini. I'm going
That'll
to have a red
camouflage.
circle on me at all times.
That's your camouflage.
The big red circle.
3 concentric red circles.
I see how this is. And Rorrg, what have you been up to?
Well, I have not been going to the Moors consistently. What I have been doing is largely working on doing daily stuff in the Entwood. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play lately, but when I do, I've been going in there pretty consistently on my Brandywine Champ and my Landreval Cap, and just trying to grind through the faction. The Champ's about a third way through friendly, so it's moving along, and I've now finished each of the seed quests once.
Okay.
My Landreval Cap's about 2 or 3 days behind that, and so it's going all right. They're not terribly time-consuming things, except for the end of what I found out today. The end of the quest for the seed that you plant in Isengard. You have to go back there at the end of that line to finish it off.
Okay.
Which is kind of an irritating travel.
Yeah.
Issue.
I can imagine.
And I got my Brandywine cap through the initial stuff, so he's ready to start doing the dailies there, and as well as hit the big deed quest where the giant tree follows you around for a couple days. But I'll probably wait until I see the slugs are active and do that all in one day if I can.
Okay, so there's more than just bugs, flying bugs out there in the Fangorn, because that's all I've seen is just those flying bugs.
There are 8 or 9 different kinds of monsters and patches in various places. There are Gredbig. There are the beetles. There are slugs in one place, and the thing with the slugs is they're not there every day.
Okay.
They're only there on certain days. And the quest, the deed with the associated quest to do all these 12 things requires you to kill the slugs too. And until that happens, you're going to have the horn following you around. So I will wait until I know that I can just get it done in one day and then do it all.
Okay, that makes sense. So that's kind of the dailies kind of thing.
It is. My other thing is that I have for several months now, and every Saturday I make a large guild whatever on all of my gilded crafters, so that I always have materials on hand when I need to make some kind of guild item, and B, when a new tier opens up, I just go into the vault, pull them out, and clicky, and I've maxed the new tier.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
And so I got that done again this week, and that was really about it. I'm really busy with the play I'm directing right now.
Oh, cool, congrats. I have just did some anniversary stuff, and then I did some leveling of some lobies and our 3-mans that we did last night. That was pretty fun. That were,
Yes,
epically fun and perfect in every way, and all kinds of stuff like that. I think I'm the only one that died, but anyway, that's normal for a mini to die.
sadly,
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah, but that's okay. So that's what I have been doing in game. All right, in news, the big news is the player council was announced. Do I hear yay?
Super psyched about that.
All right.
Yay.
So tell us why you're super psyched.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. Now, I can't say for sure that it was my idea because I'm sure 100 other people have had this idea. But the fact that I run in the moors with one player council member and that my kin leader is another player council member, and that I directed them both to the forums where I put in a little blurb in the forums about it. I had made mention about Turbine being able to make some money by using mithril coins to get free-to-play players out to the moors, and the next thing I know, you can use mithril coins as a free-to-play player to get out to the moors. So I can only think that the player council actually had something to do with that, and that to me says the player council definitely works, or they are listening to us at the very least.
Yeah.
So I'm just psyched to see what else, what new changes might come about because of, and the mail system, the change in the mail system also came from the player council. So there's all kinds of good things happening, and it's because our voice is being heard through our player council, which I love.
Yeah. There is a forum, a post in the forum that talks about, because the NDA was lifted for the 2013 player council. So if you know any council members and you have questions for them, they would be happy to, if they want to, they can answer any questions. And some of the questions that were being asked were things like, what were you most proud of doing? And the thing that I find most interesting is that it's kind of what we thought. It's a very specifically focused focus group is all it is, and these people who have been calling them names and all of this stuff and blaming them for a whole bunch of stuff that they had no control over. I'm hoping they're paying attention now and listening to what they were saying. This is what we did.
Yeah, you can't imagine a focus group having any power over anything.
No, and I'm excited to hear that they did that they did you know, get to bring things like the mail idea and the mithril coins to the Moors and that kind of thing, But also they said that they were basically brought things like we're going to do this, like the trait trees. How can we best implement that? What are you guys' ideas? Not like would you like us to do this or we're thinking about doing this. It's like we will be doing this. How's what do you guys think about it? So that's not like they were driving the direction of the game as so many people seem to think they were.
Right. Can I
Yeah,
jump
honestly,
off topic here?
Go ahead.
Oops. Can I
Yeah,
jump off topic for a second? You mentioning the mail reminded me of something I heard a couple weeks ago. Somebody said something about the new mail system is great, but you can only reply. You can't just open the box. You can just open your mailbox when
hello.
you're out on.
Okay.
You can't just open your mailbox when you're out in the field.
Okay. Yeah.
You have to bind a key to it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you go into.
I actually just put it on my toolbar.
Oh, there you go.
You can go into your system options, and like you could put bag 1, bag 2, bag 3 on your toolbar. Just remove something from your toolbar and replace it with mailbox, and then you can click it out in the field if you're VIP and send and receive mail.
That's awesome. I am so enjoying the mailbox. That is like super cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. And I did buy the horse, the faster horse for the account wide a couple weeks ago when it was on sale, and that's been super fun too.
See, I thought about it, but I just can't. I can't get myself to spend I'm cheap.
Yeah.
I can't spend the turbine points on it. And for me, who's in the moors all the time, a 78 speed horse would be awesome because it would allow me to get away from, well, maybe not get away from, but at least avoid a Rorrg or two. One would think.
I'm cheap enough that I only paid for the 68 speed horse. I didn't see that the extra 10% was worth the extra turbine points, quite honestly.
I did. I pay for it. Travel and storage are two things I will never skimp on for turbine points. That's what they're there for, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I only have a couple of milestones. I'm always tempted to buy extra milestones, but they're on the same cooldown, so that really doesn't help me.
2 is enough, but I don't hesitate to buy more return 2 skills either.
Yeah, I'm always picking those up. That's the first thing I pick up. So what do you buy?
I'm a hunter.
Oh.
So, yeah, I don't need the return 2 skills. I'm a hunter. I love it. But no, I buy renown boosts and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm tempted by
Moors.
Cosmetics.
See, now if you're interested in cosmetics,
there
I'm gonna just do a shout out real quick.
Okay.
Kath. She's the kin leader's real life wife, and she is awesome for cosmetics and things like that. We've actually, my kin won the cosmetic kin of the year or whatever it was last year. And a lot of that is due to her. We have like fashion shows during our annual get-togethers and things like that. At Christmas time, we have Christmas fashion shows. And if you're interested in cosmetics, that's somebody I would recommend you get in contact with. I'll give you her proper spelling of her name and everything after the show.
Okay, that sounds awesome because I'm missing a lot of cosmetics over on Brandywine. I have many, many, many on Landy, but not so many on Brandy.
Yeah, she's definitely her girls are like big time.
Yeah, we actually have somebody over in the LMB actually has a lot of the small houses. It's called Wardrobe Row, and basically any kin member can ask for permission to get access to the houses and go in and wardrobe all of the fancy cosmetics. So it's kind of a cool idea.
That is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Remind me later, Cari, there's a subject I want to ask you about what your opinion on it is. It's nothing rough or anything like that. It has to do with brain cramp. One too many Rorrg bites. Housing. I think it was housing. Yes. So I'll ask you later.
Okay. All right. We had one taking the hobbits to Isengard in English this week. I don't. Yeah. So sorry, no French speaking here.
Oh, I speak French. I can look into that for you.
Awesome. I don't know. You'll have to listen to the thing because the person we happily steal Frickin' Muck's posts is what I do because I cannot watch all of those, and she does I'm assuming the avatar's female elf, so we're going with that. Does a fantastic job of putting down what the questions were and what the answers were in general, and I really, really thank them for taking the time to do this and giving us such a great resource. Mostly they were questions about the player council. So Sapiens has asked is, what do you think the most positive aspect or influence of working with last year's Players Council was? And his answer was multiple email attachments. So, and then the fact
that is awesome.
I know we've been asking for that for a very, very long time. I'm just glad that they were able to bring forth how important it was for that to happen. Also, that the concept of bringing a core group of players together to the company as a whole, and he thinks the best achievement is that the DDO now has a players council, and that they've got another year of players council for LotRO. So it sounds like this LotRO first council was an experiment that went really, really well for them.
Now, wasn't it the same guy who started the player council here, then went over to DDO, and then came back?
Yeah, Rowan.
Okay.
Yeah, Rowan was involved in forming it, and then he went to DDO, and he's back. But they are continuing with the Players' Council on DDO.
He decided he had such a good idea, he should do it again and steal from himself.
Yes, he did. He did. Actually, sometimes I think DDO's a testing ground for LotRO, but this time I think it was the other way around. There's a really interesting question, and this again leads to the misconception of what the council was. Because somebody asked about checks and balances on the council, and Sapiens is like, there's not anything that's not even what the council is. That's not its goal. It's not its purpose. There's no veto powers to it. Basically, they're a focus group, just like they'd bring you, how they bring you in, come play video games for 4 hours and tell us what you think of your game. I mean, it's a focus group.
Just a sounding board,
but
an effective
one. Sounding board, a focus group, a cross-section of, hopefully a cross-section of the players, that kind of thing. We have news on...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was poo-pooing it, but, it's better to ask somebody who plays rather than not to.
Not to ask at all, right.
Yeah. Which is, sadly, so much more common.
Yeah, and I was reading a post in the forums, and it had already gone down to, well, these people don't post in the forums. It's like, Sapiens we picked them because they didn't post in the forums. That doesn't mean they're not active players.
That's probably a sign of good intelligence.
They picked the Players' Council who didn't post in the forums?
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, actually, I know the person, one of the people, personally, I play with her often, who, she's not she might be a lurker in the forums, but she's not an avid poster in the forums. However, she is an active player. She's a good player. She's a nice person. So I think they did a great job picking her.
I play with Anna Belwin out in the moors, who is just a fantastic person if you ever get a chance to talk to her, and very, very intelligent person as well. So I was real pleased to hear that she was a member of the Players' Council, and then they just doubled the pleasure, doubled the fun when they said that Elabule, my kin leader, that he was a Player Council member. And I just thought to myself, well, if this is the quality of people that they're putting in there, then I feel pretty confident.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Yeah, Kaylee is a quality player. I know you guys have been so excited and waiting on bated breath for this. There is news about the lottery system.
Actually, I really like the lottery. I've missed it.
I like the old lotto. I'm gonna, be sad to see it go bye-bye and never come back.
Yeah.
But hopefully the new one is cool.
Yeah, he says the previous system no longer exists. I think it got fried on those servers, and when they had when the server farm went down, in the power, they lost the power. He's supposed to be
Yep.
talking to some of the engineers about it, and so this system, the new system, is going to be more like a true lottery than it is going to be like the old system, which was a raffle, which was you had 50 of this kind of whatever it was for each server. And then, if it was really popular, your chances of winning went down because there were a lot more people trying to get it. Where this system, it sounds like it's going to be you will know right away if you won or didn't.
Wait a minute. As soon as you enter, you'll
Yeah.
know?
As soon as you enter, you know. And it's different than the Hobbit presents. Yeah, so it's like a lottery where you've got a number and then people who are assigned the numbers, and if the two match, they win. So you're going to know that you're going to win right away. So there's no waiting 8 hours to find out if your raffle number came up.
Do we know if the entry is going to be in game or through the
It's through
through the site?
It's through the site. It is separate.
Okay.
It's for, so there people were likening it to Hobbit presents. It is two completely separate systems.
The Hobbit presents are neat. But yeah, I'm glad it's a completely different system.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's out of game. For two reasons. One, I'm glad it's out of game because it's a different system than the Hobbit presents, which, like I said, are okay, but not fantastic. But more importantly, it gets you out onto your actual page, which a lot of people don't even ever bother to go and create their page.
Right.
The whole thing that makes LotRO strong is the community, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And the more we build on our pages and use the forums and contact each other and things like that, the stronger our community gets.
I agree. I totally agree. And then there was one more question that I thought was interesting, and they asked Sapiens to define active in player council terms. And they actually have some specific requirements. So if you've been on the PC for 4 months and haven't posted, played, or done anything, you will be removed. So if they remove one person, that doesn't mean they're going to be replacing another. They've got more than 50 people right now, and they wanted a group of between 30 and 50.
And so they have a lot of weight they can trim.
Yeah, I think they ended up with like 59 people. Yeah.
Well, there's so many good ones out there, it was hard to choose from, I guess. So.
Exactly. There's a dude on this other side. Yeah. Does anybody have a did you know for this week? Because Leonard didn't give me one.
Well, I've got one just kind of picking up on where you are. You're in that little dungeon in the Lonelands now, right?
Yes.
That is by far the best place for I think it's tier 3 scholar materials.
Okay.
It might be tier 2.
The expert ones, it's the expert.
Tier 3. I remember when I was leveling up my scholar, I was having a horrible time finding those materials. They're all over in that dungeon. That is the spot to get them.
Okay. I thought I would try to do some lobby stuff that way. I wouldn't die too badly, and people wouldn't laugh at me for not being able to find Fangorn again this week. Still haven't found it, guys.
You want to talk about getting to Endwood again?
Yeah.
Go to Woodhurst, and you know how Woodhurst has the meat hall that's up above the rest of the city?
Uh-huh.
Go up to the meat hall and go around it on the right side, and there's a path running behind it.
Okay.
And take that path, and it kind of curves to the right a little bit, and then eventually runs you right in there.
Okay.
That's by far the easiest way to go. There are a couple other entrances, but...
Thank you. After we got off the show last week, I did manage to finish the quest and kill the mean Rorrg writing things that smacked me in the face while I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. And found a whole bunch of quests that I hadn't even seen yet. So that was kind of cool to do that. All right, so we did 3-mans last night with Leonor and Rorrg and I, and we did Stoneheist and the library. Rorrg, what do you think?
Well, like I said, that was only like my second or third time in Stoneheist. and my 8,000th in the library. So it was nice to get back to Stonehide. It was a little still chaotic, but a little more manageable than I recall. Even with the chaos we had, I think my previous attempts in there had been even wilder.
Yeah, Leonor makes me really nervous when he just runs and picks up 15 things on level. It's like, dude, are you sure I can save you?
I think they were mostly just regulars and signatures, and then those weren't a problem. I mean, Wardens are good at holding AE aggro, and champions are good at dishing out AE damage, even unfortunately when they don't want to.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were kind of mean crows. I think we should have probably tried to kill them. If you were asking my opinion, but I guess we weren't supposed to.
That was my own fault for
By the
my
way,
relative inexperience with all my skills. I had one I thought was a single target, but it was not.
Eli, what was that?
oh, I was just gonna say hi to user 661 who was saying hi to us in the chat room, and also to D David something about going for the pretty green glow again.
Oh,
I think he was directing that at you.
yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, I haven't done the library a lot because I haven't grouped a lot. So I've done it enough to kind of basically remember. I think I've done probably Stonehide and the library about the same amount. The reason is we've got a lot of people who like to run the in their absence quests, and they usually can find people to do the 3-mans. And of course, you need to do that before you can get to some of the 6-mans. So I've got a lot more experience doing those. And then somebody was telling me the relics and stuff. You can get a lot of relics running Stonehide on tier 2.
That's really all we got.
Yeah.
I used to run the Stone Height and what was the other one? North Cotton Farm. I used to love running those over and over and over again for the relics.
Yeah, I like North Cotton Farm. They changed it with one of the updates, and I was really surprised that they had changed it. But some of my favorite parts is like, oh, we don't have to chase that guy again. He's like, that's it, we're done. Because they made some changes to the length of North Cotton Farms. I don't know if you've run it recently.
No, not recently. I just did well, no, actually, it's been a little while since I did a Stone Height library in school. I just did a couple days ago. I love those runs.
I was going to ask you, did the level of first stagers dropping change after maintenance, or
from what I understand, the OD farm on disease, they kind of nixed that because it was a true farm. You were only running the first part of it and then skipping the rest of the quest. Whereas Way of the Smiths is still dropping them about the same rate, which is really good.
Cool. And Lanor's opinion on Stonehide, it's okay as a 3-man. There's nothing too fancy, and it's kind of boring. The only thing I like about it is the 99 wolves fight. There were a lot of wolves.
There were a lot of wolves. Yes.
I think we were Lanor was like waist deep in wolves by the time we were done.
It's funny because that's kind of my attitude about the library. It's a fine dungeon, but it's very, very simple. Go through, kill, and these in little packs of 4 to 5, and the boss fights are very straightforward.
Yeah, he says library's also not high on his list because he really doesn't like the Crow Challenge, which we failed because it's way too easy to fail. So he votes for Stonehide. What do you vote for, Rorrg?
I will actually vote Stonehide. So, like I said, I think the library's a bit too easy of content. I've taken very, very suboptimal groups in there and blown through it with no problem. And everything's very straightforward. There are almost no interesting mechanics in the library. So I'll go for Stonehide. It's got some interesting stuff going on. There's a bit of a challenge with some of the fights, but it's not unbeatable by any means.
Yeah, they killed them within 10 seconds of each other is kind of fun to try to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to vote for Stonehide as well because of that reason, and because it's a little more interesting in trying to figure out where you need to go. I mean, the library's prettier by all means, but Stonehide's kind of got a more interesting story to it to me. Elia,
I'm kind of the lazy kind of guy. I like the library just because I can run in there, kill it all quick, and be done, and then start it back up again.
yeah, there is that. There is that. They used to lock those, right? Raid lock those back in the day.
I think now you can only run it, what is it, 6 times an hour now or something, and then they lock you.
Okay. Well, that would make sense. David says he was running Dol Guldur, which is fun. I like Dol Guldur. I've run that one a lot because we were trying to get the Mirkwood meta horse, and there's a lot of stuff you need to do on those to get the Mirkwood meta horse.
I want to do a Barad Guldur. I haven't done one since the update, and I really want to see if they've changed it and made it more difficult, because supposedly with the change to the boss mitts, that last boss up on the top of the tower is going to be tough.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
Even in easy times, I'd been in raids that had failed that, so that will actually be a real challenge now.
You want to know, I mean, speaking of failed raids, and it's kind of funny, there is a level 75 raid which still causes level 95 groups to fail with regularity, and that's the tower of Orthanc, TOO, Fire and Ice. That is wicked.
I have never actually. I don't think I've ever actually finished any of the Tower of Orthanc ones.
I finished the first 2, and that's all. And yeah, they are nasty.
Yeah.
But if with staying 75, I mean the rewards won't be consummate with anything you'd want to actually use. So I don't see a strong
reason to run it.
Pull. Yeah.
I guess for just the knowledge that you managed to do it at 95 would be worth it, I guess. I don't know.
Cosmetics, my friend, cosmetics.
He doesn't care. I said, well, if we run another of the 3-mans in Isengard, I need this shoulders. He's like, I don't care. You're going to have them. Like, okay.
That's it. I've already got 2 outfits for my
housing items are pretty awesome for that.
Yeah. So are there any so you're saying Way of Smiths is the one to run if you want to grab some first agers, right?
Oh yeah. Way of the Smith. I've heard 24's Tall also, but that's such a longer run than the Way of the Smiths, which is actually not long at all. And it also
takes a lot longer to get to the boss, which tends to be where they come from. Now, they're not out of the final chest. You get them from defeating a final boss.
Interesting. Okay.
In Smiths, it's troll.
And the troll boss is so easy to take down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You just stack bleeds on them. A couple of yellow traded hunters throwing out, the traps for the bleeds, and then stacking lingering wound and barbed arrow, and then you throw in lore masters with their fire and everything else going on, and he just drops like a stone.
All right, so Stonehide it is. And in community, I did want to remind everybody that the Windy Acres Ranch is doing their spring carnival on May 17th. So there's a link in the show notes. And they also have maps for the races. It's an all-day event that you can, I think they're putting their entire racing season into one day is what they're doing. But it's kind of fun to go and see.
Targets for next week?
Oh, the targets for next week? Let's see. I will check. What was the question, Ilya, while I'm checking?
You said it's on the Landreval server,
yes.
Right? So do you actually need to do a character transfer over to Landreval or make up a new character, or how do you actually get involved in that if you're on, say, the Brandywine?
You just roll a new character. None of this stuff is required for high level at all. It's all in the Lobie stuff, like around the Shire and around Breland and stuff like that. You just need to have a horse, basically.
That's the only requirement.
Yep,
Okay, that
yep.
sounds
You
cool.
don't have to be a member of a kin, any of that. That's most of Windy Acres is like that, and it's the same with like Weatherstock and stuff. You just need to roll a tune, and they'll get you where you need to be. Next week is Arboretum and Arboretum Barrows. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Yeah, isn't that Gartha Garwin? Yeah, the two Gartha Garwin instances, 3-mans. They're both level like 32.
Okay. And then North Cotton. So we're gonna
Okay.
basically raffle stomp the 32 stuff.
Well, they're only two. Those are the two: Gartha Garwin, Arboretum, and Barrows. They're two separate
Okay.
wings that are run separately.
Okay.
And what was the other one? The other one?
North Cotton.
Okay.
So
That's a new one for me. So yay.
That was fun. I tend to joke about sending hobbits into. There's pies behind the big spider. He was tanking for. I had a Berg tank North Cotton for us, and he did a pretty good job. It was me the mini, Berg the tank, and LM? No, a Runekeeper. Yeah. And it was a hoot. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to try to do stuff like this with non-traditional, groups. And it's kind of fun like that.
A little trickier with the 3-man.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Okay.
This is a full group. You're almost guaranteed to have somebody who can kind of do what you need done.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, we did the pits. I've done the pits of the fireside with because it's, single, need for, a tank for one thing at a time. And actually, we had a Berg tank that went on level. That was actually pretty fun.
I hated the pits. I loved poison side, but hated fire.
Yeah, we did fire because he said it's I can grab him one at a time and hold and basically keep him stunned long enough for us to burn him down, and it worked. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I just always got thrown into the lava.
I did that too.
Other than that, it was okay, but yeah, poison side was just, I just enjoyed poison side because the last boss was kind of funny.
Yeah. Guys, we have 2 letters and a phone call this week.
That's a plethora of communication.
Yeah, fancy word there. Plethora. Another letter from Kevin. Thank you for writing again, Kevin. He says, "Hey guys, just your friendly neighborhood hunter shooting another letter your way." No crickets this time. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You put out a great podcast, and I wanted to touch on a couple more epic battle issues, bugs, and tips. He's our resident epic battle expert, clearly.
I guess somebody's got to do it.
Yep. He says in the Searching the Debris side quest in the Deeping Coombe, he's attempted this quest many, many times and only earned the gold medal in it, which makes me not think that I'm going to ever get a gold medal. So after literally sitting back and watching to see what the issue was, I noticed that the injured Rorrg soldiers that must be healed from the debris piles don't earn you any merit until they walk to the Hornberg. So those guys walk so slowly, the level cap has increased by the time that you reach the Hornberg. Apparently, they're really, really slow. So that's why it's hard to get the platinum.
Yeah, they're slow as molasses going uphill in January.
Yeah. So the side quest ends most of the time before you can reach the Hornberg when you earn the merit. So Turbine, if you listen to this as it's piped in, make the guys move a little faster. Vandals in the Tower side quest at the Deeping Wall It used to be his least favorite quest in the duo because of the little goblin vandals storm up the windows in groups of 3 and immediately set fire to his supplies. On one occasion, while running with a kinmate, we'd gotten to the side quest when my kinmate came under what he affectionately calls it wife aggro. I don't know anything about that. And abruptly had to leave the game. So in desperation, he quickly set up a ballista and aimed at the windows where the vandals spawn and just shot it with blind hope. It turns out that's the tactic to use, guys. Shoot ballistas at the windows. And then he's gotten platinum doing that ever since.
That one I haven't had a problem with, but I was playing a lore master lore masters are kind of crazily well suited for epic battles.
Right, they've like hit all the things at once.
No, hopefully I'm not interrupting anything, but with my big battles, when I do the solos, I usually spend about 30 minutes prepping, and by that I mean when you start it, as long as you haven't talked to Gambling, the actual battle doesn't begin.
Mm-hmm.
So I run around and I move every single barricade exactly where I want it. I release all of the horses, which you can't do on the 6-man, but you can do it on the solo. I do all these prep things, and then I end up platinum every time because you spend the time. There's no time limit for how long you can sit there and do your preps.
Isn't that only for the dike, though?
What's that?
Isn't that only for the dike, though? The others just start soon after you come in?
Well, yeah. It's for the dike. But, I mean, that one's an automatic platinum if you take the time beforehand.
That's good to know.
You need to be an engineer status to be able to move the barricades around and upgrade them and all that stuff. But, yeah, it's a guarantee. The trolls, never get to the statue. Most of the enemies are dead before they ever get through the barricade, because if you're a yellow line hunter, you've got all your traps on top of the engineer traps on top of the barricades. So yeah, most stuff doesn't survive.
Okay, that makes sense.
That reminds me of a point, something I noticed a couple of weeks ago. When they came out with the upgrade, I went ahead and went and bought the 50 advancement points. Now, most of my characters are rank 3, rank 4, because I go through it and then maybe run 1 or 2 more, and then I just don't want to do more epic battles with them because it's been so unpleasant to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But with the extra 50 points, I jumped up from rank 3 or something almost to rank 6, and then hit it doing a couple after one run, and it was just instantly so much more enjoyable that I did 4 more in a row, and ended up actually getting close to starting a rank in something else. And so I would actually say that's a pretty good use of turbo. If you can justify spending, what is it? It's nearly 2,000 turbo points, but I sure as heck rather have that and that kickstart for a character just starting out with the epic battles than a horse. If that's if it's something you want to go through long term. It makes the whole process so much nicer.
Yeah, promotion points are 395 turbine points for 10 points.
Yeah, and you can buy 50.
Okay. Makes sense. That's a good idea. All right, Leonor's leaving us. And then the last point is, in some cases, the Deeping Wall and the Hornburg, the main quest ends before the side quest has time to finish. This can be fixed by thinning out the first block of enemies that you see approaching. Easiest way to do this is use the catapult. I had fun using the catapult last week. It was awesome. By eliminating a majority of the first block of enemies, you will initiate the side quest sooner. He can't explain how it works, but that's what he says. And he says, thanks again. Now we had a letter from another listener, Kazran. And she says, it's so nice to have you back together again. Well, not this week. And we really need your enthusiasm and ideas to help keep things interesting when there's not a whole lot going on right now. So many of the people who were on daily for the past 3 years in my kin have just stopped showing up. It's a little depressing. I have been daily on for the festival and on all 4 servers I'm on, but other than that, I'm basically spending my time on Crick Hollow. I have one level 95 there and Brandywine and Landerval. I have about 8 on
Elendomir.
Elendomir, thank you. There are just too many alts. I'm also trying to decide if I like ESO or not. It certainly doesn't have the heart that LotRO has. I think it's more of a diversion until we get a full expansion or the next 5 levels added to cap to make the new areas worth the effort. Thanks again for being there for us with news and info, Kazrin. So what do you guys think? Have you noticed a great decline in the number of people logging on?
For me, it happened back at the Helm's Deep release. Like, we just didn't have people come back for it. But interestingly, on the forum that the people of my old kin, going way, way back, keep, I put out the producer's letter a couple weeks ago with the roadmap for the next couple of years, and had just a huge influx of like 10 people, some of whom haven't played in a year, say, "Oh, that looks interesting. I'll be coming back at some point for that."
Interesting.
So, yeah. Between the new content and the new class, there was a lot of interest.
That's pretty cool. It's going to be interesting to see how they do that new class. I have heard mention that they might be starting it at level 50, kind of like, again, I'm assuming like Death Knights. Be interesting to see. What do you guys think about that?
It would be all right with me. I don't think it's necessary. You can get to level 50 in a day and a half played, maybe, not even.
Rorrg?
I'm just not real thrilled with the class at all, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. I just don't think it's necessary to the game. I think when we had this discussion in the last show I did with you guys, it's just a little bit of lore breaking to me.
See, I'm very excited about it. I played a shaman in EverQuest and a tank druid in WoW, so I like being a bear. But I also don't think it's that lore breaking, because by the time of the events of the War of the Ring, Bjorn's descendants had kind of created a society in the area and fought against the dark forces.
Yeah.
They were definitely in the Battle of the Five Armies. That much we looked up and verified in the last show. But even though they were there, and there may have been several of them around, the idea that every third person running around in Bree is a shapeshifter or a skin changer just seemed a bit much to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how it plays. I mean, they've got guys who get paid to think of this stuff. So
yeah. So how much does the Runekeeper and the Warden cost by themselves? TP.
Oh, it's not that much. It's like $3.95 or something.
Yeah, there's no way that's going to be $3.95.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be closer to $29.95 turbine or $39.95 turbine. I don't think it's.
But they're free to VIP. Is that right?
The class. No, those classes are only free if you buy the Moria expansion pack, not the Moria quest pack.
I was referring to the Bjorning, or is that free for Helm's Deep?
No,
players?
I don't. I will be shocked.
It was free for somebody, I thought.
No, I don't remember seeing anything about being free for anybody. I would be absolutely flabbergasted if it was free. Because they even make VIPs, if they don't own the Helm's Deep expansion pack, pay for the Wardens and the Runekeepers. Right. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that. I might have missed it, but I really would be flabbergasted if they didn't if they did that for free.
I'll take the opposite. I will be surprised if a VIP with Helm's Deep is forced to buy the class.
Not lately, I wouldn't.
No, that's why. I honestly think it's going to be a cost to everybody to buy that class.
And really, yeah, D. David is right. It should be somehow tied to Mirkwood, because that's where they met him, was right outside of Mirkwood.
Yeah.
So they need to tie it to that somehow.
Yeah, if they release a North Merc region, which I would love to see, but I doubt they're going to be doing that one.
That would come after Mordor.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, we have a phone call, guys, so I'm going to play it for the chat room. And then I'll tell you what it says. So here we go.
Hello, Cari and Leonor. Santan. Been a long time listener, and I just want to say well done to you both for carrying on the show. You're doing a very good job, and I'll keep listening for as long as you keep making them. I just had a quick question. I've just started doing the chicken play in the Shire, and do you become the chicken, the rooster, or are you transported to an alternate dimension where there's a rooster in your place? I don't understand the logic of it. Is the logic? I don't know. That's all. Thank you very much. Keep going, keep playing, keep doing. Cheerio.
All right. So his question was, in chicken play, do you actually become the chicken, or are you like transported to someplace else? No, you actually become a chicken. It's like a session play, but in the real world. And you can go jump on top of real players' heads if you wish, or run around their feet, or whatever you'd like to do and make a nuisance of yourself. You can't make too much of a nuisance of yourself because you can't actually talk to them, but you can jump up and down and run around.
The nice thing about that
I've
is if you want to do one of those crazy things where you want to take a chicken somewhere improbable, highly improbable, you can have actual players help out with in the process.
Mhm.
I've been on chicken escort duty before. It's kind of fun, seeing if you can save them from the mobs coming after them.
Those suckers. I was doing some chicken run kind of research. Those little suckers are fast.
Oh
It
yeah,
doesn't take long at all to get to say brie on a chicken. We have actually had chickens show up all the way out at Weatherstock before. They've made it that far. I don't know if they were escorted or if they just managed to make it out there. And then hung out with us for probably 20, 25 minutes before they went poof.
I think they need to give chickens straight trees. It could be a DPS pecking chicken like Dave David says, or a tanking
Oh,
chicken.
that would be pretty awesome. Those chickens are awesome.
Range chickens shooting eggs out of your cloaca.
That would be kind of interesting.
Yes, that would be interesting. All right.
Now there's a new class for you, the chicken class.
Yeah. Hey, why not? Why not? I mean, we're using him as a hockey puck. Why not let him be a player?
And then you can like take your horse, warhorse cosmetic packages and apply them to your chicken so you get chicken colors.
That
Spot chicken.
that would be Final Fantasy 14. Where you get to ride the chocobos with their armor on, which is pretty cool, actually.
I only got to play up to 11.
Oh, you did?
Yep, I loved 11 though.
Yeah, 11 was good. I'm actually replaying 10 because it came out for the PS3 in HD. So I've only played it through twice. And that's enough in this weekend Final Fantasy. I actually have a lot of people on the wall behind me is the 25th anniversary poster I got at PAX a couple of years ago that has pictures of all 14 Final Fantasy mascots on it. Not the mascots, but they have the art drawing for each one of them or a particular picture kind of thing. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, you had a question for me about housing. Did you want to ask that now?
Sure. Okay. It's one of those, I don't remember what the name of that show is, but I'm going to throw it out there and say, go. It's single person kins. A good idea? Go.
I don't see a problem with it. The reason being is most of the people that I know that have the single person kins to have the kin houses, basically they want the kin houses for storage. And if they've got enough free to pay accounts and they've got enough And usually the kin houses were not taken in the housing areas. So I didn't really see a problem with it.
I think that
Rorrg?
yeah, I think that shows weakness in design. If people are circumventing the intended design to get something a benefit, then maybe you should make that benefit available in an intended way. I do have essentially a single person kin house for storage.
Mhm.
But if I hadn't had to, fill up a database with essentially fake kin information for a bunch of characters that are never played, why should I?
Mhm.
Wouldn't it be easier just to, make them available at some additional cost?
Which,
It's a better
And
mechanic.
see that's kind of where I was going with it was, in my opinion, if they had just changed the way they do the storage just slightly, instead of having all these single person kins out there, kins would remain what they are supposed to be, which is groups of people being together, and you could just buy extra storage for your duplex, your deluxe house, your deluxe house, and continue increasing the storage in that house. There doesn't need to be a cap on it.
right, which they did, except they made it prohibitively expensive and nobody would buy it because it was like outrageously overpriced.
It was,
Right.
but it's come
Yeah,
down.
it has come down in price.
It's still expensive, though.
But why? I mean, on the other side of that argument is why buy the storage for that when you can, use a couple of free to play accounts and, get storage for that with the kin house. Now, if kin houses were something that were rare, like some of these deluxe houses were there for a while, especially on Brandywine when there were like no houses available at all, that would be different. That, then I'd say people shouldn't be using them. But
Well, that's what I'm afraid is going to happen eventually. Is you're going to have so many single person kin houses that a beginning kin is going to find it difficult to get a kin house in, say, a particular region. There might be kin houses available, say, over in the Dwarven housing area, but they want one over in the Elven area, and there's just none available.
right.
That's what I see happening eventually.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, especially with because now you don't have to keep 9 people in your kin to keep your kin.
Right, it's single person now.
Yeah. Yeah. When there were a lot of people that were single person as it was, they would make 9 alts, and that was their kin, was the 9 alts. It just took a lot more work, but I know many people that did that.
Yeah, I mean, my quote unquote kin is a couple of extra characters I had hanging out and filling extra spots. And my wife had an account with 4 slots, and I used those. And my daughter had an account with 3 slots, and between them, I coupled together enough to make it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it used to be if somebody left, you had a buddy or something, and they left. If you didn't get another person in, your kin would go kaput, and they've fixed that because clearly they're not worried about that problem if they're allowing single person kins at this point.
Yeah, and again, we all know that there is going to be some type of update to housing, and so I think that they have foreseen this eventuality and they've already planned for it. So I don't know. They know what they're doing.
Well, they'd like to think they know what they're
to a point.
They'd like to think they
To a point.
know what they're doing. Yeah, I will go with that one. All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
I can always talk about the Moors, but not particularly. Oh, yeah, I do want to give kudos to one of the people on Creepside, and that is a rare thing you'll hear from me. His name is Skeletor on the Brandywine server, and he contacted one of the people running the raids on the Freep side, and the GV Grams camps, which personally I have no problem with because it's easy renown. But people are getting tired of the Freeps being bottled up on the GV stairs because of the imbalance right now. So he arranged it with one of the raid leaders on the Freep side, and they went out to an area of the moors which is very underpopulated, and they just battled back and forth, and the Creeps actually held back some of their skills to make it more of a fair fight. There was a point where apparently the Freeps had been called out, and some other Creeps came running in to join the fight, and the entire Creep raid backed off, allowed the Freeps to deal with these other Creeps, and then bring their resd back so that it was even numbers again, and then they started fighting. That kind of sportsmanship is why I love the LotRO community. There are people on both sides of the moors who are outstanding, and so kudos to Skeletor and that entire Kraid group.
That's awesome. That is pretty cool. So somebody else had come in and tried to make it uneven, and then they just kind of let them go on their merry way. Is that it?
Well, what happened, you have what's called gold tags in the moors, and there's a lot of people who don't like gold taggers, but personally I think it's part of the moors that you just need to deal with. And what a gold tagger is someone who is not part of your group, who will come in and either try to, heal members of your group or DPS down your enemy. And I can just run in there with, say, a rain of arrows, shoot a rain of arrows, and back off.
Oh.
Because now I've tagged all of those people, and as you kill them, I get credit for it.
Okay.
Or if yeah. So these guys came running in, apparently to Zerg the Freak group, because they figured that, there's this whole Kraid, and now we'll just run in with our group and we'll overwhelm them and destroy them. And the existing Kraid was like, no, we're not going to be a part of that. So they just backed off completely and let the Freeps turn and deal with this other group. And once that battle was done, they allowed the Freeps to get their rezzed people back to the fighting area, and then they went back at it again.
Okay.
So it was just a super show of sportsmanship.
That's pretty awesome. That's cool. All right.
I love the LotRO community.
Yeah, seems to be pretty cool. All right, guys. So if you would like to send us letters like Kazrin and Kevin did, you can email us at lotro.reporter@gmail.com. You can talk to us on Twitter at LotRo Reporter. You can find us on Facebook. Just search for LotRo Reporter. You can also leave us a voicemail, as you heard today. Bonus points if you have a European accent. At 616-666-6778, or use the widget on the right-hand side of the screen when you visit our site, which is LotRoReporter.com. You can check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/users/MMO Reporter Network. You can also follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/MMO Reporter. We've got stuff going all the time. We've got Middle Earth at War on Fridays. We've got the three-mans probably until June or July, depending on how fast we get them done, on Monday nights, and of course all of our shows. You can follow me on Twitter at the CariMac. It's TheCariMac. You can tweet at Leonor, at LAYANOR. Tell him you hope he feels better, or you hope he never feels better. And we'll keep.
I just hope he finds his pants.
He'll never find those pants. And Rorrg, they can follow you how?
I am on Twitter at RORGG.
All right. And Ilya, are you on Twitter, or how would they get a hold of you if they want?
Just a Gmail.
Okay.
Just Ilaadrien, ILAADRIEN @gmail.com. And I will be following Rorrg's awesome singing career.
All right. So, guys, thank you for joining me. Since Leonor was sick, I'm so happy to get to chat with you guys. I learned some stuff, and it was fun.
Thank you.
We're always here in the bullpen for you.
Awesome.
And by the way, user 661, we'll make sure he doesn't hear about the betrayal.
Oh, we betrayed Leonor? We never betrayed Leonor.
No, it was Sauron.
Oh, yes. We don't talk to him either. He's on my blacklist. He's on my ignore list. All right. Well, thanks again, guys, and thanks everyone for downloading the show and listening. And as always, we hope to see you in game. Rorrg, do you want to sing your song for me?
We
Yeah,
can
I
do
wanna hear
that.
Yay!
All right. Here we go. A tribute to John. Well, maybe I should set it up. In the we'll give a little spoiler alert for Volume 3, Book 14. You get to see in the side quests the actual attack on Isengard through the eyes of Quickbeam running around with Merry and Pippin in his shoulders, and you have attack buttons to have them throw rocks at the orcs. And so I brought this to mind. Hobbits on my shoulders make me happy.
Oh, it's a good thing Pretty's not around.
Hobbits in my branches make me cry. Hobbits throwing rocks, they look so lovely. Hobbits almost always sit up high.
That will be.
So there we go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was playing the epic, and they just seeing them up there and tossing the rocks at the orcs, and that just struck me.